तव कथामृतम् तप्त जीवनम् कविभिरीडितम् कल्मषापहम् श्रवणमङ्गलम् श्रीमदाततम् भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जनाः भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जनाः।
ओम तव कथामृतं तप्त जीवनम् कविभिरीडितं कल्मषापहम् श्रवणमङ्गलं श्रीमदाततं भूरि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जना. We are studying the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna and we are in chapter 47, the Master's training of his disciples, Monday, October 26, 1885. And the context which is going on is that Thakur is in Shampapur for treatment. Master Mahasaya met Thakur in the morning, knew all his symptoms and has gone to Dr. Sarkar to report it. And there, Master Mahasaya and Dr. Sarkar are talking. That is the context. Now, we come to the actual point. The conversation, English page 88, toward the end. Bengali page 960. Santali. Because you find out there. Yes. Bengali 961 toward the end. The conversation again turned to Sri Ramakrishna between Master Mahasaya and Dr. Sarkar. What is happening? I never used it. Doctor, I find that he is a worshipper of the goddess Kali. So many people had the impression, because Thakur had made it a sort of permanent relationship with Kali. But to call him a worshipper of Kali will not be correct. Master Mahasaya explained that he worshipped Krishna, Rama, he worshipped God the Absolute, and all the forms in which God can be experienced. That is Thakur. But predominantly he had taken up the child relation. Child requires a mother, and so he had adopted Mother Kali. There is another need, that though the harmony between all faiths which are paths is in the culmination of Advaita, but in this age, for men to have the nearest relationship with God is that of a child and mother. And so, in a way, he wants everybody to feel that God is very near. And so, he has adopted this attitude. But we'll find that he is so much mad in love of God as Krishna. And all these songs are almost pertaining to that. And also, God as Kali, God as Rama, God as Buddha. So, and God the formless and God the absolute. So, that is his thing. But as a major practical application, he has taken up the worship of Kali. That is the proper understanding. But outside people see, he stays in the Kali temple, he goes to Kali often. Why there is a problem today? This is a fresh thing. Shall I work out from the other? I think let it go. M. But oh, it is again and again today. Why? There is a not my fault. It is. I think that Geo itself is flickering today. So I can put it. I can wait a minute. I will put it in the. Okay. No, yes. Now it will not go. So M replies, but with him, the meaning of Kali is different. That is another point, very important point. Master knows it. Kali people take as a particular deity, and then Kali is the goddess of destruction, apparently Tamoguni, but for Thakur, Kali is nothing but Saguna Brahma. Kali is Brahman when conceived as creating, preserving, and destroying the world. So Thakur has told again and again that I have to put it there. Geo, no. Now I hope it will not go. But with him, the meaning of Kali is different. What the Vedas call the Supreme Brahman, he calls Kali. Supreme Brahman, when active, it is Kali. Kali herself, Thakur says, has the Nirguna form called Brahman. Kali is Saguna Brahma. Kali also is Nirguna Brahma in her absolute aspect. That is how Thakur looks to Kali. What the Vedas call the Supreme Brahman, he calls Kali. What the Muslim call Allah and the Christian call God, he calls Kali. So, beautiful. Master has explained, Kali is the absolute Brahman and Kali is all the forms of God. He does not see many gods. He sees only one God. What the Brahmajnanis of olden times called Brahman, what the yogis call Atman, and the Bhaktas call Bhagavan, he calls Kali. This is very important time. Very important. Because the three types of people generally do not see this equality. But my Guruji explained to me on the first day that what is the reality of the whole world? Brahman. What is the reality of all individual souls? Atman. What is the reality for a Bhakta? Bhagavan, Ishwar. And they are same with three different contexts, three different names. We have explained repeatedly, but let me tell once more. He said, there is one Mr. Subodh Mukherjee. He is an executive engineer. So in the office he is called XN. Friends call him Mr. Mukherjee. In the house is Subodh Babu. Now, man is the same, but three different contexts, so three different names. That is how he explained to me on the very first day that Brahman, Atman, Ishvara is same. Here, Ishvara, instead of Ishvara, it is Bhagavan. So, Bhakta calls it Bhagavan. Who runs this world? Bhagavan. Who is the reality of the whole world? Brahman. Who is the reality of all jivas? Atman. They are not different things. And this Master Mahasaya, living so many years with Thakur, has understood clearly. So he has explained the meaning of Kali. In Sri Ramakrishna, one finds all the attitudes and ideals of religion. All the attitudes and ideals. Ideals mean absolute. Attitudes mean the bhava, the relationship, the attitude with which you approach God. So all these things are present in Sri Ramakrishna. That is why Swami Vivekananda is called Vedamurti Sri Bhagavan. That is why people of all sects and creeds enjoy peace and blessedness in his presence. Who can fathom his feeling and tell us the depth of the inner experience? Depth of his inner experience. Who can fathom his feeling to the bottom, up to depth? Who can find how much deep it is? Nobody can. Doctor, all things to all men. I don't approve of it, although St. Paul says it. Doctor has a limited, one-sided view of God. So he cannot approve of it. But he is influenced by the Christianity. So he says, St. Paul says like that. So people of experience will say like that. And people who approach God intellectually cannot appreciate that point. So Doctor has expressed both the things. M. Who can understand the state of his mind? We have heard from him. Master says everything is from Thakur only. We have heard from him that unless one is engaged in the yarn trade, one cannot tell the difference between number 40 and number 41 yarn. You understand what is this 40 and 41? How many threads per inch? So 40 and 100 you can understand, but 40 and 41 you cannot understand. But if you are in that trade, one can understand. So doctor has not gone to the field of experience, so he can know. Number 40 and number 41 yarn. Only a painter can appreciate another painter. This is very true, that unless that appreciation of art has come, you cannot understand what is being expressed through that painting. The mind of a saint is very deep. One cannot understand all the aspects of Christ unless one is Christ-like. So your mind has to be like him, then you can understand him. So because he talked of Christianity, Paul, so Master Masha referred to Christ himself. Perhaps the deep realization of the Master is what Christ meant when he said, be perfect even as your Father in heaven is perfect. Master Masha has hit upon the one cardinal truth of the Sermon on the Mount, the essence of the whole Bible. I refer to two generally. One is this, the other is, blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. But you have to be perfect, even as God is perfect. Not I am better than I never know. You have to be perfect as God in heaven is perfect. Then you can understand God and his experiences. Doctor, what arrangements have you made about having him nursed? So he now changes the topic and comes to as a doctor. So what arrangement you have made, all the you people, for nursing him? M. So that topic has changed. M. At present, one of the older devotees is assigned every day to look after him. It may be Girish Babu or Ram Babu or Balaram or Suresh Babu or Navagopal or Kali Babu. It is that way. And then the young devotees for serving directly. Arrangement by one of the old devotees every day. It was about 1 o'clock in the afternoon when the doctor and M entered the master's room on the second floor. Sri Ramakrishna sat there. Smiling as usual, in spite of that cancer, excruciating pain. So when inside is filled with bliss, it does come as a smile. And we may again and again think, Thakur has told, Sita has given her smile to me. No, Sita, people say Janama Dukkhini Sita, suffered miseries all her life. And yet she has this smile. So this does not depend upon anything external or even mental, but it represents that the soul, the Atman, the Brahman is of the nature of bliss. So that comes as smile. As usual, from page 1 to last page, we'll always find Master's description, Thakur smiling. Sri Ramakrishna sat there smiling as usual, completely forgetful of the fatal illness which was eating his life away. Among the many devotees in the room were Girish, the younger Naren, and Sharad. Sometimes they were motionless, like the snake before the charmer, and sometimes they displayed great joy in his company, like the bridal party with the bridegroom. So two different similes he gives. The doctor and M bowed low before the master and sat on the floor. Doctor also sat on the floor. At the sight of the doctor, the master said, laughing, "Today I have been feeling very well." Then the master went on with his soul enthralling conversation. Master, what will mere scholarship accomplish without discrimination and renunciation? So the foundation of spiritual life is Vivek and Vairagya. Vivek is the intellectual part and Vairagya is the feeling part. I go into a strange mood while thinking of the lotus feet of God. I go into a strange mood, not this worldly experience. When I think of lotus feet of God, I go into a strange mood. The cloth on my body drops to the ground and I feel something creeping up from my feet to the top of my head. So, two, three things is describing the cloth drops. Cloth is stuck to the body only by force of friction. But if there is no body consciousness, there is no friction. Automatically, the cloth drops down. Not that he throws it, automatically drops down. And the second thing is about Kundalini. From the feet, some creeping sensation like comes. So all the symptoms are there of high spirituality. In that state, I regard all as mere straw, scholars. In that state, I regard all as mere straw. If I see a Pandit without discrimination and love of God, I regard him as a bit of straw. If he has no Vairagya, he may be a scholar, he is a straw. He has no spirituality. One day, Dr. Ram Narayan had been arguing with me. When suddenly I went into that mood, I said to him, "What are you saying? What can you understand of God by reasoning? How little you can understand of His creation. Shame." He was a doctor. You have the petty flogging mind of a weaver. Petty flogging is a new word. Oh, tete buddhi, tete, like means weaver. Seeing the state of my mind, he began to weep and gently stroked my feet. So some awakening came in him. Doctor Ram Narayan did that because he is a Hindu. Oh, doctor has found some fault in that. He is, after all, a believer, Hindu, traditional believer, so he touched your feet. Besides, he is a believer in flowers and sandal paste. That means the ritual part of Hinduism. He is an Orthodox Hindu. Aim to himself. Dr. Sarkar says that he has nothing to do with gong and conch shapes. Anything associated with rituals. Master. Now, Master shifts to another Pandit whom Doctor also will recognize as a Pandit because he has not understood about Dr. Amnarayan. Master, Bankim is one of your Pandits, one of your Pandits. I met him once. I asked him, what is the duty of man? And he had the impudence to say, eating, sleeping, and sex gratification. These words created in me a feeling of great aversion. I said, what are you saying? You are very mean to Bankim. What you think day and night and what you do all the time came out through your lips. If a man eats radish, he belches radish. Then we talked about God a great deal. There was also much devotional music in the room and I danced. Then Bankim said to me, sir, please come to our house once. So Thakur's bhava when Bankim saw, he also was moved. That depends on the will of God, I replied. There also he said, you will find devotees of God. I laughed and said, what kind of devotees are they? Are they those who said Gopal, Gopal? He refers to a particular story. Doctor, what is the story of Gopal, Gopal? Master with a smile. Doctor did not know that story, so Thakur is repeating for our benefit. There was a goldsmith who kept a jewelry shop. He looked like a great devotee, a true Vaishnava, with beads around his neck, rosary in his hand, and the holy mark on his forehead. Naturally, people trusted him and came to his shop on business. They thought that being such a pious man, he would never cheat them. Whenever a party of customers entered the shop, they would hear one of his craftsmen say, Keshav, Keshav. In Bengali, it sounds as Keshav. Who are all they? Keshav is the name of Bhagavan Krishna, but the Bengali pronunciation will be Keshav, and that is split Keshav. Who are all they? So apparently taking God's name. Another would say after a while, Gopal, Gopal. Now Gopal is Bhagavan Shri Krishna's name because he protected the cows and because he is the master of all Indriyas. Go is Indriyas also. But Gopal means they are cowherds. Then a third would mutter, Hari, Hari. Hari is also name of Vishnu, but Hari as a verb in Bengali means shall I steal? Finally, someone would say Hara, Hara. Hara, Hara is name of Shiva, but Hara, Hara means yes, you can steal. Do steal. Now these are, as you know, different names of God. Hearing so much chanting of God's names, the customer naturally thought that this goldsmith must be a very superior person. But can you guess the goldsmith's true intention? The man who said Keshav, Keshav meant to ask, who are these? Who are these customers? The man who said Gopal, Gopal conveyed the idea that the customers were merely a herd of cows or cow herding people. That was the estimate he formed of them after the exchange of a few words. So after some time, the man who said Hari Hari asked, since they are no better than a herd of cows, then may we rob them? He who said Hara Hara gave the assent, meaning by these words, do rob by all means, since they are mere cows. Okay, go Pal here. Oh, okay. Pal means a group. Gopal means protectors of cows. But Gopal also means a group, a herd of cows. So they are herd of cows, no brains. So you can easily rob them. Once I went to a certain place with Mathur Babu. Many Pandits came forward to argue with me. And you all know that I am a fool on law. That means I don't have the external scholarship. But people know he is not a fool, so they laugh. The Pandits saw that strange mood of mine. When the conversation was over, they said to me, Sir, after hearing your words, all that we have studied before, our knowledge and scholarship has proved to be mere spittle. This is all in response to doctors telling that Ram Narayan is an Orthodox Hindu. So Thakur is giving the example, of different scholars and how they all were influenced by Thakur's spiritual mode, though they had come to argue. All that we have studied before, our knowledge and scholarship has proved to be mere spittle. Now we realize that a man does not lack wisdom if he has the grace of God. The fool becomes wise and the mute eloquent. Therefore I say, like this is what they said, huh? Therefore I say that a man does not become a scholar by the mere study of books. So don't call him a Pandit at all. Pandit really means one whose intellect is filled with the idea of soul. Panda Atmavishya Buddhi. Sa yasya asti sa Pandita. Panda is that intellect or consciousness devoted to Atma. And one who possesses that is really Pandit. Pandit is translated in English as scholar. Yes, how true it is. How can a man who has the grace of God lack knowledge? Look at me. I am a fool, again, in that respect. I do not know anything. Then who is it that utters those words? The reservoir of the knowledge of God is inexhaustible, infinite. There are grain dealers at Kamarpukur. Example, beautiful. Huh? When selling paddy, one man weighs the grain on the scale and another man pushes it to him from a heap. It is the duty of the second man to keep a constant supply of grain on the scale by pushing it from the big heap. It is the same with my words. No sooner are they about to run short than the Divine Mother sends a new supply from her inexhaustible storehouse of knowledge. So he feels that the reality expresses itself through his mouth. During my boyhood, God manifested himself in me, not to me, in me. God manifested. I was then 11 years old. One day, while I was walking across a paddy field, that incident happened when he was 6 or 8, but he has forgotten his age. One day, while I was walking across a paddy field, I saw something. Later on, I came to know from people that I had been unconscious and my body totally motionless. Since that day, I have been an altogether different man. That was the first manifestation. So that has totally changed the inside. So from that day, he is a different man. I began to see another person within me. Thakur's experiences are really strange, unique, and to be followed. When I used to conduct the worship in the temple, my hand, instead of going toward the deity, would very often come toward my head, and I would put flowers there. A young man who was then staying with me did not dare approach me, perhaps Hridayaram. He would say, I see a light on your face. I am afraid to come very near you, either Hriday or Haradari. You know, I am a fool. Repeating that, from the scholastic point of view, I am a fool. I know nothing. Then who is it that says all these things? So, I, ego, individual is totally absent in Sri Ramakrishna. The God is the person present in him. That one should understand. Then who is it that says all these things? I say to the Divine Mother, O Mother, I am the machine and thou art the operator. I am the house and thou art the indweller. I am the chariot and thou art the charioteer. I do as thou makest me do. I speak as thou makest me speak. I move as thou makest me move. If this is the consciousness, man has no worry. He has totally realized. It is not I. It is not I. It is all thou. It is all thou. Clearly. Hers is the glory. We are only her instruments. Once Radha, to prove her chastity, carried on her head a pitcher filled with water. The pitcher had 1,000 holes, but not a drop of water spilled. People began to praise her, saying, such a chaste woman the world will never see again. Then Radha said to them, why do you praise me? Say, glory unto Krishna. Hail Krishna, I am only his handmaid. So because of that attitude, she is pure. I am pure is not a correct statement. Once in that strange mood, so Thakur is always referring to that strange mood because the normal human mood is different. Once in that strange mood of mine, I placed my foot on Vijay's chest. You know how greatly I respect him, and I placed my foot on his body. What do you say to that? Doctor does not like that at all. So doctor has up till now not understood fully, doctor. But now you should be careful. Master, with folded hands. What can I do? I become completely unconscious in that mood. Then I do not know at all what I am doing. So what do you talk of care? Doctor, you should be careful. No use folding your hands now and expressing regret. So doctor is unable to catch at all. He thinks Thakur is genuinely expressing regret. Thakur is comparing the two moods. In ordinary mood, it is not good. But in that mood, he has no consciousness of I. Master, can I do anything myself in that mood? How many times, how many ways he is trying to make him understand? What do you think of this state? If you think it is a hoax, then I should say that your study of science and all that is hoax. Bosh. Now Thakur has come to the point to make the doctor feel the truth. By simple words, he is not understanding. So he says, if that is not true, your science knowledge is bosh. Direct attack. Doctor, now listen, sir. Would I come to see you so often if I thought it all a hoax? So I'm not telling it is a hoax. You know that I neglect many other duties in order to come to you here. I cannot visit many patients, or I spend 6 or 7 hours at a stretch here. So that is not a big thing for Thakur. Master, once I said to Madhur Babu, don't think that I have achieved my desired end because you, a rich man, show me respect. Thakur is now hitting Master. Because you are showing respect, so I have gained everything, don't think like that. Oh. Sure. It matters very little to me whether you obey me or not. Of course, you must remember that a mere man can do nothing. It is God alone who makes one person obey another. Even that is due to God. Is Thakur seeing everything filled with God? The ideas, the spirit. Man is straw and dust before the power of God. Doctor, do you think I shall obey you because a certain fisherman obeyed you? Mathur Babu was a fisherman, but he was Western educated, he was a scholar, he had discrimination, he had great power of argument. So doctor is finding fault with every example given by Thakur, but Thakur will make him understand somehow. Undoubtedly, I show you respect. I show you respect as a man, not as God. That is the difference. Master, now Thakur has caught him now. Now Thakur will not leave him. Master, do I ask you to show me respect? Bapre. You are showing respect because there is a big gap. I do not ask. Ah, Girish, now Girish has found a way to interfere. Girish, does he ask you to show him respect? Doctor to the master. What are you saying? Do you explain it as the will of God? Master. Who else can it be? What can a man do before the will of God? This he has not yet understood. Arjuna said to Shri Krishna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, I will not fight. It is impossible for me to kill my own kinsman. Shri Krishna replied, Arjuna, you will have to fight. Your very nature will make you fight. Then Shri Krishna revealed to Arjuna that all the men on the battlefield were already dead. Future, he showed, God has killed them. Thakur's story is wonderful. And because of this doctor's doubt, we are getting so many things from Thakur. Once some Sikhs came to the Kali temple at Dakshineshwar. They said, you see, the leaves of the Ashwatha tree are moving. That too is due to the will of God. The Sikh people understood this, not Orthodox Hindus. Without his will, not even a leaf can move. Doctor, if everything is done by the will of God, then why do you chatter? Why do you give advice to people? And that also is the will of God. He has not yet caught that. Chatter. Why do you talk so much to bring knowledge to others? That I also does not do that. Master, he makes me talk, therefore I talk. I am the machine and he is the operator. Doctor, you say that you are the machine. That's all right. Oh, or keep quiet, knowing that everything is God. Either keep quiet or feel like machine, then it is all right. Something is going to his head. Girish to the doctor. Whatever you may think, sir, the truth is that we act because he makes us act. Can anyone take a single step against the Almighty will? Doctor. But God has also given us free will. I can think of God or not as I like. Girish, you think of God or do some good work because you like to. Like to. Your inclination. Who has created this inclination? Really, it is not you who do these things, but your liking of them that makes you do so. That liking makes you do so. You don't say you. Ah, Girish's spirit of surrender is functioning and is talking. Doctor, why should that be so? I do these things as my duty. Another concept, duty. Girish, even then it is because you like to do your duty. Everybody does not say duty. You do duty because you like. And that like is produced by God. Doctor, suppose a child is being burned. From a sense of duty, I rush to save it. Everybody will not do that. Girish, you feel happy to save the child. Therefore, you rush into fire. It is your happiness that drives you to the action. A man eats opium being tempted by such relishes as puffed rice or fried potatoes. Somebody like this, somebody like this, somebody like that. Laughter. So this example, people appreciate it. Master, Thakur intervenes now. A man must have some kind of faith before he understands, before he undertakes a work. So he is telling liking this and that. Thakur says it is Shraddha. Yo yat Shraddhasya eva sa. As different men have different Shraddhas, and as per Shraddha is that man. Bhagavad Gita. Further, he feels joy when he thinks of it. Only then does he set about performing the work. So, element of joy, faith. Suppose a jar of gold coins is hidden underground. First of all, a man must have faith that the jar of gold coins is there. He feels joy at the thought of the jar. Then he begins to dig. As he removes the earth, he hears a metallic sound. That increases his joy. Next, he sees a corner of the jar. That gives him more joy. Thus, his joy is ever on the increase. Standing on the porch of the Kali temple, I watched the ascetics preparing their smoke of hemp. I have seen their faces beaming with joy in anticipation of the smoke. So this is the most fundamental thing. A man gets joy, expects joy, and so he does anything in the world. Bhagavad Gita 18th chapter. Doctor. But take the case of fire. It gives both heat and light. But is there? He has not yet followed it. The light no doubt illumines objects, but the heat burns the body. Likewise, it is not an unadulterated joy that one reaps from the performance of duty. So in duty there is problem also, but man does not care for the problem because of the joy. Duty has its painful side too. It may have, but if there is no joy, one would have not done it. It is a joy which make you do even hardship. He is missing one side continuously. M to Girish. M to Girish. M is not directly talking to doctor. As the proverb goes, if the stomach gets food, then the back can bear a few blows from the post. Somebody is beating, but feeding also. So that feeding will make you bear the beating, not mere beating. There is joy in sorrow also. Master up till now, and Girish to the doctor, duty is dry. Doctor, why so? Girish, then it is pleasure or love. Argument. M. Again we come to the point. that one takes opium for the sake of the relishes that are served with it. Girish to the doctor. Duty must be pleasant, or why do you perform it? That element of joy. Doctor. The mind is inclined that way. Inclination is same thing. Again and again it is coming to the same thing. M to Girish. That wretched inclination draws the mind. If you speak of the compelling power of inclination, then where is free will? Free will, I do what I want. No, inclination makes you do. Doctor, I do not say that the will is absolutely free. He is trying to smuggle. Suppose a cow is tied with a rope. She is free within the length of the rope. This is Thakur's example. But when she feels the pull of the rope, master. Jadamanik also gave this illustration. That means it is in some Western book to the younger Naren. Is it mentioned in some English book? Today we are having a great discussion, feast. To the doctor, look here, if a man truly believes that God alone does everything, that he is the operator and man the machine, then such a man is verily liberated in life. Verily liberated in life. Once he understands, he is the instrument. Thou workest thou own work, men only call it theirs. Do you know what it is like? Vedanta philosophy gives an illustration. Suppose you are cooking rice in a pot with potato, eggplant, and other vegetables. After a while, the potatoes, eggplant, rice, and the rest begin to jump about in the pot. They seem to say with pride, we are moving, we are jumping. The children see it and think the potatoes, eggplant, and rice are alive, and so they jump that way. But the elders who know explain to the children that the vegetables and the rice are not alive. They jump not of themselves, but because of the fire under the pot. If you remove the burning wood from the hearth, they will not move. They will move no more. Likewise, the pride of man that he is the doer springs from ignorance. Men are powerful because of the power of God. All become quiet when the burning wood is taken away. The puppets dance, how many example is giving? The puppets dance well on the stage when pulled by a wire, but they cannot move when the wire snaps. A man will cherish the illusion that he is the doer as long as he has not seen God. Ignorance. As long as he has not touched the philosopher's stone, unless he has become transformed by knowledge. So long will he know the distinction between his good and bad action. This awareness of distinction is due to God's Maya, and it is necessary for the purpose of running his illusory world. But a man can realize God if he takes shelter under his Vidya Maya and follows the path of righteousness. Vidya Maya is those elements in Maya which take you towards God. He who knows God and realizes Him is able to go beyond Maya, Vidya all. He who firmly believes that God alone is the doer and he himself a mere instrument is a Jivan-Mukta. a free soul, though living in a body. I said this to Keshav Chandra Sen, to a man who had experience and also scholarship. He was a leader of men. Girish, to the doctor. How do you know that free will exists? Doctor. Not by reasoning. I feel it. Ah. So here reasoning has stopped. Girish, in that case, I may say that I and others feel the reverse. If feeling is the thing, I can feel the reverse. We feel that we are controlled by another, no free will. Allah, because Girish is very strong in arguments. He can produce the counter argument of every argument. Doctor, there are two elements in duty. He is still going on anyway. First, the oughtness of a duty. That means it should do, should. Second, the happiness, which comes as an after effect. But at the initial stage, the happiness is not the impelling motive. Without that, it would not have come. I noticed in my childhood the great worry of the priest at the sight of ants in the sweets offered before the deity. He did not at the outset feel joy at the thought of the sweets. First of all, he worried about that. So he finds facts according to his thought line. Him to himself. It is difficult to say whether one feels happiness while performing the duty or afterwards. Where is the free will of a man if he performs an action being impelled by a feeling of happiness? Master, what the doctor is speaking of is called love without any selfish motive. Thakur wants to take that angle to a spiritual path. I do not want anything from Dr. Mahendra Sarkar. I do not need anything from him, but still I love to see him. That is called unselfish love. This is love for love's sake. But suppose I get a little joy from it, how can I help it? Another view of the same thing, a spiritual turn to that. I once said to Rama, "Oh Rama, I have no objection in being born even as a pig, but please grant that I may have pure love for thy lotus feet. I do not want anything else." Narada went to Ayodhya to remind Rama that he was to kill Ravana. At the sight of Rama and Sita, he began to sing their glories. Gratified at Narada's devotion, Rama said, "Narada, I am pleased with your prayer. Ask a boon." This is Adhyatma Ramayana. Narada replied, "O Rama, if thou must give me a boon, must then grant that I may have pure love for thee, love for thy lotus feet, and that I may not be deluded by thy world bewitching Maya." Rama said, "Ask something more." "No, Rama," answered Narada, "I do not want anything else. I want only pure love for thy lotus feet, a love that seeks no return." So it is a very different matter, and that is the direction which doctor can take. That is Dr. Sarkar's attitude. It is like seeking God alone and not asking him for wealth, fame, bodily comforts, or anything else. This is called pure love. There is an element of joy in it, no doubt, but it is not worldly joy. That joy also is spiritual. It is the joy of bhakti and prema. Devotion to God also, devotion to God and ecstatic love of Him. I used to go to Shambhu Malik's house. Once he said to me, You come here frequently. Yes, you come because you feel happy talking with me. Yes, there is that element of happiness. Thakur is extreme, that is his logic. Huh? But there is a state higher than this. When a man attains it, he moves about aimlessly, Trigunati. Like a child, as the child goes along, perhaps he sees a grasshopper and catches it. The man of that exalted mood too has no definite aim. He is going and sees some grasshopper, he catches it. He had not decided to catch it. To the devotees, don't you understand the doctor's inner feeling? Thakur is trying to raise that level by a different turn. Without disturbing his ideas, without disturbing his faith, while these people are arguing, Thakur is finding that that can be turned into spiritual life if that becomes the attitude proper. That is the difference. He has heard a lot of arguments up till now. It is a prayer of a devotee to God for right purpose, that he may have no inclination for evil things. I too pass through that state. That is another beauty of Thakur. He can find every way he has traveled, so his words carry force. It is called dasya, the attitude of the servant toward the master. I used to weep so bitterly with the name of the Divine Mother on my lips that people would stand in a row watching me. When I was passing through that state, someone, in order to test me and also to cure my madness, brought a prostitute into my room. She was beautiful to look at, with pretty eyes. I cried, oh mother, and rushed out of the room. I ran to Haladari and said to him, brother, come and see who has entered my room. So absolutely no trace of idea of bodily enjoyment. I told Haladari and everyone else about this woman. While in that state, I used to weep with the name of mother on my lips. Weeping, I said to her, oh mother, protect me. Please make me stainless. Please see that my mind is not diverted from the real to the unreal. To the doctor, this attitude of yours is also very good. It is the attitude of a devotee, one who looks on God as his master. So Dasya Bhav. When a man develops, let us continue. When a man develops pure sattva, he thinks only of God. He does not enjoy anything else. Some are born with pure sattva as a result of their prarabdha karma, previous year life. Through unselfish action, one finally acquires pure sattva. Sattva mixed with rajas divert the mind to various objects. From it spring the conceit of doing good to the world. To do good to the world is extremely difficult for such an insignificant creature as man. But there is no harm in doing good to others in an unselfish spirit. This is called unselfish action. It is highly beneficial for a person to try to perform such action. But by no means all succeed, for it is very difficult. Everyone must work. Only one or two can renounce action. Rarely do you find a man who has developed pure sattva. Through disinterested action, sattva mixed with rajas gradually turns into pure sattva. No sooner does a man develop pure sattva than he realizes God through his grace. Ordinary people cannot understand pure sattva. Him, we find he is a big man, once said to me, "Well, priest, the goal of a man's life is to acquire name and fame in the world. Isn't that true?" Here ends the conversation. That means him could not understand it. Om tava kathamritam tapta jivanam kavibiridhitam kalmashapaham shravanamangalam shrimadatatam bhui grunanti ye bhurida jana. Om shanti shanti shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.